Welcome to Farming Aid.
Today we're diving into one of the most fascinating rivalries in the cattle world, and it's not about the biggest, toughest, or heaviest animals out there. Instead, we're talking about the small giants of ranching, the Miniature Hereford and the Dexter. At first glance, these breeds might look tiny compared to traditional cattle, but don't let their size fool you. They're efficient, hardy, and profitable in ways that surprise even seasoned ranchers. One is a downsized version of a world-famous beef breed, built to deliver premium meat in a smaller frame. The other is an ancient Irish dual-purpose cow, capable of providing milk, beef, and versatility all at once. In this video, we'll explore their history, their strengths, and what makes them stand out in today's farming world. It's the battle of the small giants. And by the end, you'll see why these little powerhouses are changing the way people think about cattle. The idea of smaller cattle may sound new, but it really isn't. Throughout history, farmers have often valued compact cattle for their ability to thrive on less land, their docile temperaments, and their versatility. The Miniature Hereford and Dexter cattle embody this heritage in different ways. The Miniature Hereford is a carefully downsized version of one of the world's most iconic beef breeds, while the Dexter is an old Irish breed with a reputation for doing it all: milk, beef, and even draft work. Both breeds appeal to modern ranchers and homesteaders who don't have thousands of acres but still want the satisfaction of raising cattle. So, let's dive into their stories and see how these two breeds compare in the ultimate battle of the small giants. Miniature Herefords trace their roots back to the Hereford cattle of England, which were first developed centuries ago in Herefordshire. Herefords became famous around the world for their outstanding beef quality, hardiness, and ability to adapt to different climates. In the 1970s, breeders in the United States began selectively breeding smaller Herefords, focusing on individuals with naturally shorter frames. Over time, this deliberate selection gave rise to the Miniature Hereford as its own distinct line. Unlike some miniature animals that are created through dwarfism or crossbreeding, Miniature Herefords are simply scaled-down versions of the full-sized Herefords, maintaining the same conformation, look, and beef quality but in a smaller package. Dexter cattle, on the other hand, carry a completely different story. Originating in southern Ireland more than 200 years ago, Dexters were bred by small-scale Irish farmers who needed cattle that could do everything. These families often worked small plots of land and couldn't afford to raise separate herds for meat, milk, and draft. So they developed a breed that was hardy, thrifty, and versatile. Dexters became known as the poor man's cow, because they required less feed and space than larger cattle but provided milk for the family, beef for the table, and even the strength to pull carts or plows when needed. Today, the draft role is less important, but Dexters remain one of the most versatile small cattle breeds in the world. When you put Miniature Herefords and Dexters side by side, the size difference is one of the first things you'll notice. Miniature Herefords typically stand between 38 and 45 inches tall at the hip and weigh anywhere from 700 to 1,000 pounds. That's about two-thirds the size of a standard Hereford, but still a solid, stocky animal with good muscle. They have the classic Hereford look: red bodies with distinctive white faces, neat horns, though many are polled, and a strong beef conformation. Dexters are even smaller, usually standing between 36 and 42 inches tall and weighing 600 to 800 pounds. They're more compact and less blocky, with a more varied appearance. Dexters can be black, red, or dun, and they may be horned or polled. Instead of the single-minded beef look of a Hereford, Dexters carry a balance of traits that reflect their dual-purpose nature. Now, if we look at beef production, Miniature Herefords shine. They were developed for one primary reason: to deliver premium beef in a smaller, more manageable frame. Their carcasses produce the same marbling and tenderness that have made Hereford beef famous around the world, but the cuts are smaller and often considered more consumer-friendly. Families who raise miniature Herefords don't end up with a freezer overloaded with hundreds of pounds of meat at once. Instead, they get a more practical amount of beef, perfectly suited to small households or local sales. In fact, niche markets have emerged around miniature Hereford beef, with consumers attracted to the idea of natural, grass-fed beef from smaller animals that don't require feedlots. Dexters, while not bred solely for beef, hold their own in this category. They yield well-marbled, flavorful beef with a reputation for being lean but tender. Because they're smaller, their carcasses are ideal for homesteaders who want a balanced supply of beef without the overwhelming volume of a larger steer. But what makes Dexters stand out is their ability to provide both beef and milk, something the miniature Hereford cannot do as efficiently. Dexter cows can produce between 1 and 3 gallons of milk per day, with high butterfat content that makes it excellent for butter, cream, and cheese. For small farmers, that dual-purpose capability is a game-changer. It means one animal can meet multiple needs, saving money and space. Temperament is another factor where both breeds show their worth. Miniature Herefords are known for being calm, gentle, and easy to handle. They were bred with families and small-scale farmers in mind, so disposition was a key selection trait. Children and beginners can often work safely with miniature Herefords, provided basic livestock handling rules are respected. Dexters are also generally friendly, though they can be a bit more spirited than Herefords. Many Dexter owners describe them as intelligent, curious, and even dog-like in personality. While they're not aggressive, they may be more independent and alert than the docile miniature Herefords. For farmers who value interaction and personality in their herd, Dexters can be highly rewarding. From a management perspective, both breeds require less land and feed than their larger counterparts, which is a huge selling point. Miniature Herefords thrive on smaller acreages, making them a great fit for hobby farms, ranchers looking to diversify, or families who want cattle without the massive overhead of standard breeds. Their feed efficiency is remarkable, and they can maintain good condition on grass with minimal supplementation. Dexters take this thriftiness even further. Because they were bred in Ireland's rugged countryside, they're extremely hardy, resistant to many diseases, and capable of thriving on marginal pastures. They don't need lush grazing to stay productive, which is why they're considered one of the most efficient small cattle breeds in existence. When it comes to reproduction, both breeds are relatively easy calvers. Miniature Herefords, with their smaller frames, generally have fewer calving issues than larger beef breeds. Their calves are small at birth, which reduces complications, and the mothers are attentive and capable. Dexter cows are also famous for easy calving, often producing smaller calves that grow quickly without putting undue stress on the mother. This trait is particularly important for small-scale farmers who may not have access to extensive veterinary support. The peace of mind that comes from knowing calving problems are rare is invaluable. One area where Dexters pull ahead is versatility. While miniature Herefords are exceptional beef animals, they don't offer much beyond that role. Dexters, however, can be milked daily, used for beef, and, in some cases, trained as draft animals. That kind of flexibility is rare in modern cattle and appeals to farmers who want to maximize the value of each animal. Even in today's world, where tractors have replaced oxen, having cattle that can serve multiple purposes makes Dexters attractive to homesteaders and permaculture enthusiasts. On the economic side, the battle between these two breeds gets even more interesting. Miniature Herefords often command high prices because of their novelty, excellent beef, and suitability for niche markets. Families who sell beef directly to consumers may find that miniature Hereford meat sells at a premium. Breeding stock is also valuable, as the breed has a strong following among people who want the Hereford look in a manageable size. Dexters, while perhaps less flashy, are still economically smart. To provide both beef and milk means owners save money on groceries, and their hardy nature reduces veterinary and feed costs. In terms of overall return on investment, Dexters may quietly outperform because they meet more needs with less input. Another point worth considering is longevity. Miniature Herefords can live and remain productive for many years, but Dexters often have an edge here too. Some Dexter cows remain productive milkers and breeders well into their teens, which is unusual for cattle. That extended productive lifespan adds to their overall value and reduces the need for constant herd replacement. Now, let's address the question of land use. If you have limited acreage, which breed gives you the most return? Miniature Herefords need a bit more space than Dexter simply because of their build and appetite, but they still require far less than standard cattle. They fit nicely on small ranches of just a few acres, provided there's good pasture rotation. Dexters, being smaller and even thriftier, can thrive on very limited land. In fact, they're often recommended for people who only have a few acres but still want cattle. This land efficiency makes Dexters particularly appealing in today's world, where farmland is expensive and urban edge farms are becoming more common. Climate adaptability is another factor farmers can't ignore. Miniature Herefords are hardy and adaptable, capable of doing well in a wide range of climates, from cold northern regions to warmer southern pastures. They retain the same resilience as their full-sized relatives. Dexters, forged in Ireland's rugged environment, are equally adaptable. They handle cold, wet conditions extremely well but also thrive in hotter climates when managed properly. Both breeds prove that you don't need giant cattle to get hardy, resilient stock that can face diverse conditions. So, who wins the battle of the small giants? The truth is, it depends on what you want from your cattle. If your primary goal is producing premium beef with the traditional Hereford look in a smaller, easier-to-manage package, the Miniature Hereford takes the crown. If your goal is versatility, self-sufficiency, and a breed that offers milk, beef, and a friendly companion all in one, the Dexter may be your champion. Both breeds have their strengths, and both represent the growing movement toward smaller, more sustainable livestock. The appeal of these small giants goes beyond just farming economics. They embody a philosophy of doing more with less, of raising animals that fit the land rather than forcing the land to feed oversized animals. They remind us that efficiency, versatility, and manageability can be just as important as size and volume. Whether it's the stocky Miniature Hereford grazing peacefully on a few acres or the hardy Dexter providing both milk and beef for a homestead, these breeds show that sometimes the best things really do come in small packages. No matter which one you choose, these small giants show us that efficiency, adaptability, and personality matter just as much as size. They're perfect for small farms, hobby ranchers, and anyone looking to raise cattle sustainably without sacrificing quality. If you enjoyed this comparison, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Let us know which of these small giants you'd welcome to your farm. And stay tuned for more videos exploring the fascinating world of livestock breeds.